We are third after thanks. Hear me?
I am getting a horrible cell right now. Can you hear me?
Marc, but I think he is at his place in Tiger Fitness. So are you having reception trouble, sir?
It's working now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm good. What's going on,
All right,
man?
here we go. How was your Thanksgiving, sir?
Yeah, it was good, man. How was yours?
Ours was awesome. I'm actually rehydrating.
Oh, there you go.
Everybody knows I'm rehydrating. You can get this 25% off at ambrosiacollective.com and 25% off at tigerfitness.com. Go there right now.
I'm rehydrating too with more caffeine. It's been a long day, man. We got up at 3 a.m. to be here in Ohio. So it's been a long day. It's been a long day, but awesome. It's our biggest Black Friday sale ever, Tiger Fitness. We're crushing it.
Hell yeah.
Got the free hat, got free shirts, got free cross. Check out this crossbody bag, dude. Check out this bad boy.
That's nice. And when you call it a crossbody bag, it's not a purse. You know?
No, wallet, firearm. We're good to go.
You just got us demonetized.
Well, you couldn't tell what that was.
When you say what it is, it works. You know,
it was my arm is on fire.
I got you. Anyway, how the fuck you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It couldn't be better. I was just looking at everything going on here, and it's crazy because have you seen that dude in Argentina who won their presidency? He's
a psycho. I love it.
But the thing is, now everybody's like, nah, man, he's WEF. He's a Zionist. I'm like, I don't. How come we can't just celebrate for 1 minute somebody based gets elected? It's like, no, man, he's a fraud. He's a fake. It's like, can't we just take a W? Can't we just take the dub?
Well, no, especially the Republicans can't. Republicans refuse to win, like that, and when they do win, they don't want it. They don't want it to be an actual win. It's kind of crazy.
It's really weird. They like self-destruct. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like it in my life, and that's why Democrats win. Say what you will about the Democrats, dude. They just win. They win and they win and they win and they win because no matter what dumb stuff they do, they always got each other's back. They're always on message, and we just can't do it. And I say we because I have to vote Republican because even though I'm literally like by most senses of like what you think they stand for, you'd be like, oh, Marc, he's anti-war, he's pro-choice, definitely a Democrat. No, I'm far right. So it's like I'm so confused. So it's like, okay, guys, we got to win. We got a W. Let's roll with it. Like, no, this guy's WEF. He's Jewish, so he's a Zionist. Definitely can't take the W there.
It's very strange, like how, because what do they think is going to happen? Like, there's no perfect candidate, like not in our politics, and we're not. I often say, I say this all the time. We're not voting our way out of this. We've got to like get stuff in order to actually have pieces in place. But you were talking about how they're on message, like, and the title of this is Biden versus Newsom. That's not really a real thing, guys. Let's just get you to watch this because notice how, like, Marc and I were saying 4 years ago almost that Biden literally is like, he was clearly cognitively impaired. He's clearly cognitively impaired. He's been for years clearly cognitively impaired. He should not be it's not getting better. He should not be the leader of the free world. But now he's going to talk about running again, and they still don't have anybody stepping up and being like, I'm going to challenge that. The only person that did was RFK, and they booted him out of the party. The Democrats stay on message.
I like RFK. I mean, I know that gets a lot of flack for me saying that because he's anti-gun. Obviously, I'm pro-gun. He's anti a lot of things that I'm pro, but he's him. He's unapologetically legit. Like look, man, if you're a liberal and you believe in climate change, and see the thing is these people are super gluing their hands to some concrete. You realize super glue is made from petroleum. They're not very smart. These aren't the best and brightest. No. So if you live by the sword, if you truly believe in the message that you're expressing, I respect you. I respect you. Like if you're like, let's say Leonardo DiCaprio, let's say he's like, you know what? I think the climate change is a huge issue. So I'm not going to fly private jets. I'm going to drive an electric car. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to have my house powered by solar. I'm going to do everything in my power to be him, to be that guy, to practice what I preach. I don't care if I agree with you or disagree with you. You have my respect because you are a man who lives by your word. However, if you are espousing things about climate change and you're flying around in a private jet and you're anti-gun or you're pro-gun control and you're surrounded by armed security guards, I hate you. I hate everything you stand for, and you are a horrible person, and I hope you spend eternity in hell.
The funny thing is everybody's all like I know a bunch of people that are anti-gun. They're anti-gun until they need somebody to save them that has a gun.
A cop.
You know, like, yeah. Like,
and then they're anti-cop. And then they're like, F the police. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, I got you. Okay, if you're all about F the police, you should be the biggest pro-2A person in the world. Right. I like both. I like having cops and guns. I like both.
Yeah.
I like freedom. I like being, well, and cops can't be everywhere, right? Like even like the response time to my neighborhood, it's got to be in the 10, 12 minutes.
And that's a lot of time.
Yeah. By that time you're killed and they're gone. They're 20 minutes. They're done. Like you're not going to find them.
No.
There was something in Brentwood the other week where they had two guys, obviously Nashville's nearby, and they were on the loose, they were on the run. They locked down neighborhoods, they locked down schools, never found the guys.
That's
never found
scary.
them. Well, I mean, so they literally locked people and they were like, hey, don't leave your house. Schools are on lockdown. This is right in my neighborhood. And it's because cops can't be everywhere. However, I guarantee you this. Everybody who was told about it, they had a firearm in their pocket because we're in good old Tennessee. And that's what I want. I want all of my neighbors to have guns. Every one of them.
I think the world would be just a lot safer place if everybody owned a gun. Yeah. But I mean, like, I just really do. And I think that that's what it was intended for. I mean, I think that it was always intended for every citizen to at least be proficient with them. But, if you're like, I also find it funny that people are like, I'm a pacifist. I don't even think that true pacifism like is in human nature. Like I really don't. Like I think everybody has a point. You know what I mean? Like where they're in it. Like where all of a sudden they've had enough. I just think that America is more passive than most places around the world. We put up with a lot of shit. We put up with a lot of shit.
Yeah. I mean, but I think people just genuinely want to be nice and don't want to hurt other people. And that's what they exploited during 2020. It's like, that's why they didn't go with save yourself, because we're naturally risk takers, right? Yeah. Americans are historically risk takers. Like we fought the greatest army in the history of the world at the time and won. Like Americans were like, nah, we got a horse. We got Paul Revere, bro. We got this. We got like muskets. We'll dump some tea in the ocean. We're good to go. But like, we don't want to hurt people. We're generally good people. Americans are good-hearted people. I think all people are generally good-hearted people, unless you train them to be something they're not. Okay. So what happens is that's why they did away with the whole, you need to protect yourself. Because I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. You do you. But then like, no, it's not. Remember, it's not about you. It's about protecting others. And that's where they got people. And that's where they got us. Like, you don't care about grandma? Yeah. That's where they got us, because people are good. People are generally good-hearted people.
And they just need to get people to pause, because once they got once they got a lot of us to pause, everybody else fell in line. Now there's like a vast majority of people are sitting down and we're paused. So like it's easier to quell, Like, dude, have you seen what's going on in Ireland? Speaking of easy to quell, have you seen what's going on in Ireland?
Ireland is awesome because it's kind of, the Irish have, again, aren't they still in somewhat of a silent civil war? Somewhat. They've been in a civil war since at least I've been alive. Yeah. So I'm just looking at what's going on there. And what's your take on that situation?
Well, dude, I just think that it will eventually. I hate to say it, but I'm almost proud of it. You know, like because here's the thing, man. Like you have people in your country illegally. You know, like this whole concept of mass migration. Fuck that shit. You guys stay where the fuck you're at and come here legally or whatever.
Yes.
I think we need mass deportation in most of these countries, because if you're not going to assimilate to the culture, like if you don't come to America because you want to be American, don't come here. If you don't go to Ireland because you want to be Irish, don't go there. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's okay to bring some of your traditions because we're a melting pot. But if you just hate America, or like you don't want to stand for anything we have, why are you here? Like people ripping down the American flag in Times Square on Veterans Day, just
putting
like
up a Palestinian flag.
Putting up a Palestinian flag. Why are you here? You're obviously here because, like, if you're here and you don't like the country and you're not here legally, we shouldn't have you here. And I mean, thing is, if you're not here legally, we shouldn't have you here.
I'm with you.
We shouldn't.
My mom, as you know, I'm first generation American. My mom came over here legally.
Right. Yeah. Legally, you know, but with what's going on over there, and I think Conor McGregor is like one of the biggest voices online about it right now. Like he's like, you know, kick these people out and what's going on, because basically, for those of you that don't know, an illegal immigrant stabbed a bunch of people, because you don't need guns to have violence, by the way. But he stabbed a bunch of people, including children, right? Because he hates those people, like he hates the Irish, right? So he decided that he was going to stab these. So that they're in basically rioting, and they're like they're telling them, kick these people out or we're going to. Like the people are going to take over. And I really think that's like, I'm kind of proud of them. And I'm wondering when America is going to get there. Like these border towns, like I don't understand these border towns. Like the fuck, man? Like why can't you, why can't you do something? Like why can't they do something about it? It's crazy to me.
The problem is, remember that old guy who shot a guy trespassing, an illegal immigrant trespassing, and they're trying him with the full extent of law. This is a guy who's in his 80s. He only has a couple years left, and they're ruining the rest of his life. So the problem is the justice system has been weaponized against good Americans like you and I.
Right.
If you and I protected our family, I guarantee you we'd be behind bars. Yet the Biden family can do business with China and extort money and launder money, and nothing happens. At the end of the day, America has become exactly what the founding fathers did not want to happen. Exactly. We are a two-tier system where you have the haves and the have-nots. And it's not necessarily the money, okay? It's the power. Because I have money, right? I have some money, not like Biden money, right? Like I have enough money to protect, to defend myself.
You don't have been in bed with China money.
But I don't have power. I don't have political power. So at the end of the day, the reason we don't fight back, the reason nobody spoke up against what happened in 2020, which is what we're going to say as code word for the C word, because I really like having a channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
The reason people didn't speak up is because the ramifications were too high to take that risk. And at the end of the day, all of us want to do one thing. We want to be left alone, and we want to provide for our families, and we want to support our community. And if we're behind bars, we can't do that. So I think that we're in a horrible situation as a country where we're seeing the J6ers, right? The January 6th thing. Now, look, man, they were unarmed, they were stupid, and they weren't strong. They were boomers. Okay. Yeah. So you have those guys literally being thrown in jail and for years without due process. While they're holding them, waiting for their trial. Meanwhile, you have, Palestine supporters, or whatever they, because I guess there's no Palestine, Palestinian people supporters literally rushing a government office and one person getting arrested, and there's no manhunt for the rest of them. So you're looking at a two-tier political system. And then you're looking at Hunter Biden getting off with a slap on the wrist, and Joe Biden should be behind bars for treason for what he did.
Yes, he should. Yeah, absolutely.
And yet Trump isn't the brightest. He does some stupid stuff, but like he's done much less than Biden. I don't think anybody's going to argue that unless you're a complete tribal idiot. Yet the book's being thrown at Trump, and Biden is just everything's fine. He's just an old guy who likes ice cream, right? So it's just I fear. Here's what I fear. I'm almost hoping it happens at this point. At this point, I just want everybody on the side rooting for this, but then I'm part of the problem. It's like the problem is it goes both ways. So if it's happening to Republicans now, what happens when the Republicans get power? Did you know that for every 3 kids a Democrat has, a Republican has 4? So conservatives but conservative people don't generally kill or sterilize their children. And that's what Democrats kind of do. Yeah. So they're having more kids. Also, religious people tend to procreate more, tend to have more children. So what happens in 15, 20 years when we have a plus 20% Republican conservative majority because the kids are Republican conservative? What happens to liberals? The same shit that's happening to conservatives now. And I fear that because I don't think anybody should be treated differently in this great country. I think we should all be judged by who we are, not the political theory we believe, not if we believe in socialism or capitalism, not if we vote for Trump or Biden. I think we should all be judged as human beings. So what I'm fearful is that the boomerang effect will be so great that it's going to hit them so hard right in the jaw. But I find it's almost disturbing that I'm cheering for it. I want these people to suffer. I want them to hurt. You get what you ask for. You get what you get your own medicine, but I don't want to feel that. But right now I am, because I feel that I've been persecuted, having my YouTube channel shadow banned, having all this stuff happen to me for simply talking about vitamin D. So I'm like, you know what, guys? You rot in hell. You made this bed. You sleep in it.
Well, the problem is and we keep hearing all sorts of stuff like, well, if Trump is elected, it's the end of democracy. Well, we're not a fucking democracy. And for those of you that are wondering why we should not be a democracy, because when democracy is about majority rules. Well, what if the majority thinks that your particular religion shouldn't be should cause you to not be able to be in the country? Like, majority rules is how we would have gotten to, you're getting this, experimental injection. No matter what, they're going to come around house to house, and if you don't want it, you're not like, if you don't want it, you can't be in society, because they literally tried to fucking extricate people from society about it.
Yes.
And my thing about that was, we are a constitutional republic, and for those of you that don't know what that means like it is bounded on everybody's liberty, everybody's freedom, right? So to me, I much more prefer the concept of what we are supposed to be, a constitutional republic, because my rights are guaranteed by my birth. They're outlined in the Constitution. Mm-hmm. I elect officials to protect my rights. We've just gotten so far away from it, and to the point where, I mean, they're teaching children about blowjobs in school, but they're not teaching them that we're actually a constitutional republic. It's tough, right? I mean, it's tough right now. I'm so glad I don't have a kid in public schools.
Well, I had sex ed. I grew up in California. I remember having sex ed in, I think it was 4th grade, and it was like simple things like, hey, true or false? Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. And it was simple. And I think it's just, I think the books are the issue, and it's not banning books, it's banning porn.
Transphobe.
Honestly, transphobe means you're kind of scared. It means phobia. It means you're scared of trans people, right? Yeah. So I will be honest, and I don't want anybody to judge me one way. If I saw a naked woman with a penis, it would scare me. So I guess that does make me, I'd be like, because like certain people I don't want to see naked, right? Like, you ever see someone, like you're at like a kid's soccer game, you see a mom or a dad, you're like, man, I don't want to see that person naked. And like, imagine if you don't want to see that person naked, and then they're naked and you see a private part you didn't expect. Yeah. That would scare me. I'd be like, I remember like the first time I saw a naked, like trans person, like I was, I'm not going to lie, I was in my teens. And like my dad, like his friend owned a video store, and he got rid of all the beta. Remember beta tapes, not VHS? Before VHS, kids, there was beta. Yeah. It doesn't mean, but it was a cassette. It was a smaller version of VHS. Yeah. and there was a porno movie, and I'm like, I'm gonna click this in the little beta player, and I put it in. And
what a horrible surprise.
I was 13 years old, Alan, and I'll never get that image out of my head.
What a horrible surprise.
It was a woman, but with a penis, and I was like, oh no. I'm like, first of all, I need to turn this on. I don't need anybody catch me watching this. Because at that time, if like one of my friends saw me with that would be the end of my career.
Oh, like, you're over. You're over.
I'm burning this. I'm getting it out of here. So yeah, I guess that's the thing. But I think just looking at societally, and I want to bring up this comment, and I actually think this is a good thing to talk about. Conservative majority, you won't have one because social engineering through open borders. I actually disagree as someone who grew up in California, because we're letting in a bunch of Latinos, right? Like Latinos, Latinas, Latinxes, whatever you want to call them. So we're letting in a bunch. So what is their faith? Yeah. Bro, they're Catholic. And the thing is, people don't realize California, up till Pete Wilson sold the bag with Proposition 187 in 1996, 1994 and 96. California was a Republican state simply based on abortion. So I believe that as these cultures assimilate or integrate into society, they will find themselves siding with basically pro-life. I see that happening, because if there's one thing that Catholics don't like, I'm not talking about your fake Pope. I'm talking about real Catholics. It's killing babies. And that's where I see that fault. What do you think, Alan?
Here's my thing. I understand what he's saying, because he's trying to say like the public school system and everything like that. I think that they had their shot, and I definitely think they I think that I remember telling Marc 3 years ago, I was like, they're going for it. Like the elites are going for it. They're trying to imprison us. And I just think they overplayed their card. Like if they didn't shut down the possible flow of information. I think and people are going to be pissed at me when I say this, but I think TikTok fucked it up. Like TikTok.
Whoa! I got to hear this. What?
I think TikTok fucked up the elite takeover. I really do.
TikTok?
Yeah, because the flow of information on TikTok is even faster than Twitter, right? It's because if somebody takes a video in like whatever country about whatever's going on, it gets shared so quickly through reposts and stitches and duets and stuff like that, and it just gets a life of its own, and it's visual, right? So it gets just like an incredible reach, and a lot of conservatives and a lot of people who are kind of against being told to take an experimental gene therapy. A lot of them were able to like spread information on there, and they would like basically got the information out to a lot of people. I really think that that's where it started. And then when Elon took over, when Elon took over Twitter,
yes,
it was over. Like, because
Elon saved everything.
He did, to a great degree, because you have to be able to control the complete narrative, and they had a stranglehold on it. I remember me and Marc would share some stuff. I had the thought process. I wanted to try to build a freedom of speech platform, and I wanted to use Amazon's ASW where to do it. Like, you can build an app based off of their servers. And right when Parler got shut down, I sent this dude a message, this guy an email like, hey, should I plan on having this app I'm building be a freedom of speech app, with your servers? Do I have a guarantee that we won't just get shut down like Parler? And he said, nope, I can't guarantee that. I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm out, but I'm not going to sink any more money into that. But I think there was like this thing where people, like, once you couldn't control the narrative, it was over. And I do think that that's what's happening with public schools. I do think that a lot of school boards are getting taken over this year and next year. I think we're about to see some crazy shift. I know one of my best friends from high school is running for the local school board that his kids are in, because they don't like how it's going. There's a bunch of school boards that got like completely outed, like completely boosted this past election.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so we had Williamson County, where I live, we had one guy win who works for Pfizer. Yeah. But he apparently he just because he works for them, he's not one of them. He seems to say all the right things.
Right.
I'm not really concerned with the things I was concerned about in 2020, especially where I'm at, because we are the county that went national for threatening to kill the school board. So I'm not like literally when you remember that TV clip where it's like, we know where you live to the school board. That was my county.
Yeah.
Love them. I wasn't there, by the way. Robbie Starbuck was though. So Robbie Starbuck's in my county. For those of you who know him. So look, man, I'm not. So my concern right now is just, hey, are we educating the kids or are we indoctrinating the kids?
Yeah.
And so far, our school district has been amazing. Like even the one in Illinois, like our Illinois school district was amazing too. So my experience with public schools is way different than a lot of people's experience. Right now, my son, Preston, has an amazing teacher. My daughter's had an amazing experience at Ravenwood High School. Like Ravenwood High School has been amazing. And that's why it's a 10 out of 10 school. It's not, it's Ravenwood is higher rated than private schools. And that's why people don't go to private schools. So private schools, the reason their football teams in Tennessee suck compared to public schools, there's no reason for kids to go there. The education is better at Brentwood and Ravenwood and even Independence and these other schools because you can save $35K a year in tuition. And even if you get a scholarship, it's not going to be 100%. So usually you see private schools like in California's Bishop Amat, Long Beach Poly. We don't have that. Brentwood beat Brentwood Academy this year. They beat the shit out of them. Why?
Yeah.
You don't think Brentwood Academy goes, hey, we'll give you free tuition. The parents are like, nah, we'd rather them go to this school. It's dope.
Yeah.
So like I live in an area and that's why we moved to where we moved because the public schools are based. We were some of the first schools to get rid of masks. We have a school board who is beholden to the voters, who is beholden to the parents. We have a very active constituency of dual parent households.
Right.
However, the problem comes when you don't have households like ours, when you have households in the inner city where you have a single mom who doesn't have time to go to the school board meeting.
Yeah.
Then you're trusting them to raise these poor kids. You're getting indoctrinated into God knows what. And that's where it's a problem. But so far, we've had nothing but amazing experience with public schools.
So I think that another thing that people don't realize is like kids are generationally fickle. Okay. So they tend to rebel against the generation before, right? So the next generation of kids coming up, like the next generation of high school kids, it wouldn't surprise me if they were like almost Uber based because this generation is extremely, extremely like they, them, and all that crazy shit. So, and here's the thing. It's no matter what anybody says, being an athlete in school is always going to put you on the cool list.
It's like, meritocracy too.
Being a jock in school is always going to give you an advantage. And it does not matter what people think. It is just reality. Like it gets to be a lot more Lord of the Flies natural selection in high school than it does, in elementary school and shit like that. Like the strong survive, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Through social engineering in the last couple of years, it's been made to seem like, well, they pretty much downplayed this. But like, just like your kids are crushing life. Like my friend from Pittsburgh, his kid, like his I send you videos of him. This kid, this kid's probably going to break the national 16-17 deadlift record, like at his first powerlifting tournament. But he's also like great on academics, everything like that, because he has a based family in a based school district, and they destroy everybody else. So I think it's going to go like switch back, like the pendulum swings. The scary thing for me, I'm with Marc. I'm not worried about the same things I am in 2020. The scary thing for me is that the pendulum swinging gets more extreme every time it swings. It's picking up momentum.
We said this. We said this 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago, we said this. I remember we said, like, Trump is nothing compared to what's going to happen if they keep taking it further left. Yeah. So what is it? Occam's razor keeps moving and moving. Yeah. It's getting to the point where both sides are falling off cliffs. But to the defense of conservatives, they haven't really changed. In fact, I think they're softer than ever. Like except I think they overplayed the pro-life thing. It's like, come on, like you can't just you can, I just don't think it's a good move. Look what happened in Ohio. Everywhere that it was on the ballot, it got crushed. Why?
Yeah.
People love killing babies. It just is what it is. Abortion's always going to be a losing topic if you're pro-life. It just is. You have to be like, hey, the old school Democrat thing was, hey, we're going to do this as little as possible. And we're going to do it, we're going to try and prevent as much as possible. We're going to put limits on it. Like you can't just be killing 30-week-old babies. Okay. Yeah. The problem is Republicans are like, I don't care if you were raped. I don't care if you were incest. I don't care. You're keeping that baby. And that's all the other side hears. And then somehow they brought that into women's rights, which whatever, because a man gets a woman pregnant. I'd say it's as much a man's right issue as a woman's right issue.
Right.
Just because she's carrying it doesn't mean it's not my baby.
Here's my thing. If conservatives were actually truly about the Constitution, they'd be pro, that's none of anybody's business because we have a right to privacy. But the problem is, and this is where I think this is where the real pendulum is going to swing, right? In my mind, I no longer see it like I think we have more people that view it as it's the Uniparty versus the people, and that is becoming the more prominent like development. Like look at Michael Rappaport. We've talked about him last week. Like Michael Rappaport, a bunch of these people, like Cardi B, all these people that were considered extreme leftists are all of a sudden saying this shit's fucked up. Like you guys aren't actually helping us. Like they've become disenfranchised. Like I remember becoming disenfranchised with the Democratic Party, like in 2016 when they robbed Bernie Sanders of the nomination. Like they just robbed him of it. I was like, and they were like, fuck it. Yeah, we did. Whatever. Like they're like, oh, we don't cheat in elections. Bernie Sanders would tend to fucking disagree twice, Yeah,
but he took the bag though. Bernie sold out.
Oh yeah, they gave him the money. But I just think that it's getting to the stage where that's the real pendulum swing we got to worry about, because the Uniparty went for it in 2020. They went for it. And they will try again. I remember not too long ago, 4 months ago, they were trying to scare us about COVID again.
Yeah, but that didn't even fly in New York. I remember I was driving in the Uber to the what is that the Javits Center in New York, and I'm like, Alan, everybody on Twitter keeps saying that people are in masks and stuff. I'm like, I haven't seen one mask, and I'm in the heart of New York City.
Yeah,
it was insane. I'm like, dude, I don't know. People are like, oh no, these Democrats are. Even the Democrats are like, bro, nah. I think people are losing it, man. I think you're right. They played their hand. They went too hard. And even their most fervent of supporters are like, nope, sorry.
Because none of it made they went so far. When you can just think about something, I mean, I understand that people ride their team's line. That's one of the things I think me and you have in common. Like Mark and I don't wear other people's jerseys. You know what I mean? My name's going on the back of my fucking shirt. I don't wear others. I don't wear sports guy. I'm an individual person, right? I think for myself, and that's one of the reasons why I think Mark and I get along so well, right? But I think a lot of people do have that in them, and you can't sit and think about the shit that they wanted the people to do and be like, well, that doesn't you have to at some point in time be like, well, that doesn't make sense. That makes no sense, at all. Why are we doing this? But people were such in a frenzy at the very beginning that they were able to institute a lot of shit. Remember, for a while they had people walking down, in the grocery store, you had an aisle, you had a green arrow to walk down. People had to be like, come on now, And that was my wife.
I used to purposely go against those to piss people off.
Yeah. Well, that was you've talked to my wife about it when we were up there. My wife was like, I didn't do shit because none of it made sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'm not doing it, and I think that a lot of people are seeing that and they realize they weren't actually trying to look out for people. They were trying to just take control. It wasn't even about the virus or the jab or anything like that to me. It was about they were trying to take control. And I'm not saying Trump was part of it. I'm saying that he fell for it a little bit. But I think that's the swing people need to watch for, because that's where it could get real ugly. And they did the January 6th thing as a way of okay, we've got these people so upset that they might revolt. So we need to make sure that they know that even if no matter what, we will prosecute them to the nth degree. So we are going to I've watched a lot of the footage. If you don't feel that was an orchestrated event, I encourage you to watch more footage and watch the cops say, "I'm undercover" as Antifa in the crowd, and as he talks to the other cops with his badge on. Like, dude says it.
Those cops are evil.
Yeah, they should all be in jail. Those cops
are evil, and they should all be charged with treason. Every single one of those cops. Every single one of those cops. And Liz Cheney, she should be sentenced to some punishment I can't mention on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people even listen to him anymore.
They don't. The problem is it's a big club and we're not in it, and that's George Carlin said that, and it's funny. I want to actually bring this up because I think this is something that I really want to get across. And these people are talking about not voting, and that they don't see a point to voting. And I really think that is by far the stupidest thing we could do as a population. So even if you're voting for the lesser of two evils, you're voting for the lesser of two evils. There is a point. What Trump did is he slowed down whatever was going to happen. I don't know what was going to happen, but Trump definitely slowed some things down. Me voting for Trump, I definitely think it was, I do not regret it. I do not regret any vote I made. We should vote in every election, from local to state to federal. Look, man, if you don't vote, you need to just shut the fuck up. You have no right to say anything. You have no right in any discussion. If you do not vote, you do not have a say.
You're just bitching.
You don't have a say. Yeah, you're not taking any action. I'm not telling you to go out and hold picket signs. I'm not telling you to go out and start an activist group or go door to door canvassing for a local candidate. I'm asking you for 10 minutes out of your Tuesday. I know you're not that fucking busy because you're here watching our bullshit right now.
Right.
Go up to your local library, fucking grab a ballot, put it in there to get it from that old lady, put it in the fucking machine, get the fuck out of there. Yeah. It's not hard. And if you don't know about something, don't vote for it. If you're just going there for a one issue, look, man, there's been times I've seen like a thing on there, like for one of those, like, what do they call them? Those fucking like propositions.
Yeah.
And I read it and I'm like, this makes no sense to me. I'm not voting because I don't know what the fuck it means. I'm not going to vote. So I'd rather not vote and let everybody else have a say because I didn't research it enough. But I'll be like,
but then you have no right to bitch about the outcome of it either.
Oh no. Now there was one, my favorite Tennessee ballot for last one is they finally, after all these years, they banned slavery. I'm glad. Can you imagine the guy who realized that was, hey guys, you think we should ban slavery this time?
That's funny. That's scary and funny at the same time. Scary and funny at the same time. The biggest thing about like what I see going on is like if the conservatives were smart, again, we talked last week, they'd all back Trump right now. He's got. I mean, get on message, because here's the thing. They're all behind one message on the other side. So get on message and figure out a way to be like, we voted this way. This isn't turning out. If you think they cheated last time, which it's looking, but if you think they cheated last time, I don't want to get us banned. Make sure you have a way of saying like, hey, no, you cheated this time. Because here's the thing, guys.
Yeah, real quick, Alan, YouTube, just so you know, Alan is saying what he read in CNN, and that's not his opinion. Alan, like me, thinks this was the fairest election in the history of not just the United States, but of the world, not even the free world, but the world in general. Carry on.
Yeah, the world in general. Yeah, absolutely.
Dinosaurs.
Totally. But let's get on page, and if you want freedom, like, and I'm not saying we're going to be automatically constitutionally free again. There's a lot of work to do. The Patriot Act is unconstitutional. That's a Republican thing. Republicans still vote for gun restrictions. Trump voted for gun restrictions. Like that's a Republican thing that shouldn't be. we have a lot of work to do, but I can tell you how it's not going to get done if we keep going towards like the whole green energy bullshit that the left is pushing, and we don't drill, baby, drill. Like we should be completely energy independent and exporting energy. We should be, everything should be on the table. We should be producing hemp in America like it's great, like it's going out of style.
Yes.
We should be producing hemp, like. And for those of you that don't know this, look at the history of hemp and how it got to be made illegal. Hemp was grown by almost all the founding fathers. It can be eaten, worn, used as biodiesel, used as concrete. You can literally make concrete out of this shit.
It's so versatile.
It is the most versatile plant there is, and its cousin can be used for medicine. But we should be growing the fuck out of hemp. It can actually help feed our fucking people. It can help fuel our vehicles, everything like that. And we should open up the patent office. If you don't think that they have vehicles that can run like specs to a vehicle that can run on water, you're an idiot.
They've already had that. They had them in the 1940s and 50s. Yeah. My son and I go to this place called the Lane Auto Museum in Nashville. And they have these steam-driven automobiles. It's been done. It's been done. So it's absolutely fascinating how we suck at okay. First of all, California is in a perpetual drought. Yet desalinization is not economical enough to do. Okay, how the fuck can't we figure out how to make that economical? Yet somehow Elon has little satellites beaming internet down to everybody. I just think that we're not trying. I think for some reason they're slowing it down. Or maybe we need to just leave that up to the private sector. Because remember, space travel has been nothing until the private sector took over.
Yeah. Well, I saw an interesting statistic the other day. And I mean, because people already think I'm a conspiracy theorist. But do you know that 50% of the Earth's surface is too deep for us to touch? We've never been to it. We've never seen it.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's underwater, right? 50% of the Earth's surface is underwater.
That's crazy.
If you don't think there's shit we haven't seen, like what's buried under there? Oh my God. There's so much shit, right? And I just feel that I feel like through manipulation almost and censorship, like we're talking about online censorship and censorship in general, information is not getting spread that should get spread. Like I have a hard time believing we like, even if we just stuck with fossil fuels, are you telling me that my truck gets the same gas mileage as a truck that was made 20 years before it and 20 years after it? Like I run a 2004 Dodge Durango. I get like 28 miles to the gallon on the highway. Do you know what a Dodge Durango that I would buy brand new gets on the highway?
28 miles a gallon. Yeah.
Like
it's crazy. It's crazy how we really haven't progressed, but yet we've progressed, but yet we have literally artificial intelligence that the military says they're going to let shoot people down without human interaction.
Oh my God, I saw that. Talk about insanity. Like these people don't watch enough sci-fi movies. Have you ever seen the movie Stealth?
Have you ever seen Terminator?
Yeah. Well, but Stealth is about an AI jet plane that decides it's going to do whatever the fuck it wants to do. Like, and then of course, Terminator, nuts. Like Terminator is like, and here's a possible scenario. What if that's already happened?
Shit.
What if like Google, like the Google algorithm is sentient already? What do we do?
We just fucking pray.
A lot of you better figure out how to friction start a fire pretty quick. That's I'll tell you that, because we could get blown back to the fucking Stone Ages.
I don't think people. I mean, Elon was the first one to really publicly sound the alarm about artificial intelligence, and I'm at the point now where I like it because, I mean, I can get a ton of information with one prompt, and it'll save me dude. The amount of time it saved me looking for studies. Oh my God. Like I'll literally, and I'll be able to pull up the study. I'll be like, hey, give me 5 studies for blank. Boom. It's right there. So I'm able to do all this research. So I'm very bullish about artificial intelligence, but it needs to be somewhat contained. And I don't think anybody right now, I think that the nerds are getting too excited about it. And now you give it to these people who are evil, and it's a dangerous proposition.
Yeah, it's because it's if it becomes sentient, like,
oh God.
And so if it's sentient, and on a logic string, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's very dangerous. There was recently a movie called Megan that had something about that too. Crystal and I just watched it not too long ago. It was crazy, but the doll is AI, basically learns, and then is just like, okay, not having it. You're not turning me off no more. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a scary thought. I mean, I wanted to talk about online censorship a little bit since we got into it. It's like a nice little segue. How much do you think is still, like, because me and you are ex people. We're Twitter guys, right? Like you got me into Twitter in 2020 because I really
Cernovich got me into Twitter.
Yeah,
Cernovich got me into it.
I really like it. I really do. Shit. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed upsetting a bunch of fat people all weekend. It was awesome. The last couple of days, over the holiday, it was awesome. But how much censorship from like still including there, because there's shit you still can't say there. You were just on a 12-hour ban not too long ago, but
mine was simply about enforcing a legal penalty for somebody who was a candidate for it.
Right.
I'm not even going to say what it is because obviously, but I mean, whatever. I served my time, and I think Twitter's been very, very good to me. Yeah. And the algorithm can only do so much, and they're just. I think Twitter's what it is, but like you look at Instagram and you look at YouTube, and censorship is still very, very pervasive. It's a very standard practice in social media.
But how many pockets in society do you think that creates? Because like we're Twitter people. Like I don't go on Facebook much. My family uses Facebook Messenger. That's literally what I use for Facebook, right? Instagram I'll go on occasionally, but I don't scroll through there. I basically pull stuff off of TikTok and learn and look for, and this is just true. I look for fucking homesteading shit, like survival shit on TikTok. And I get my news from Twitter because I think news travels very fast on Twitter, right? But like there are people that just do Facebook, like who are just kind of, that's how they learn about the world. Yeah.
Well, they're old, and Facebook's going to feed them leftist stuff, generally speaking. Very few, and they censor the hell out of anything that isn't from the mainstream media. So that's another thing, is that people generally, you look at what's going on, and basically fighting the power means becoming part of the machine. So it's different. Rage Against the Machine. I knew the world was really weird when Rage Against the Machine literally became the machine and was promoting mandates. I thought that was hysterical because they were literally like, "F you, I won't do what you tell me," was literally a lyric of their song. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was, just rocking and rolling and training in my garage, and I'd have Rage Against the Machine when I was, in my early 20s, first started, lifting hard and heavy. And I'm like, I used to love them because it was like, I'm anti-establishment. I've always been like, F you, I'm not doing what you tell me. And that's the reason I love working for myself. Mm-hmm. But now it appears that everything was just a friggin' hoax. Like none of these guys actually believe what they're talking about. They were just a manufactured boy band, except they sung a little more hardcore. They were the Backstreet Boys with better drums.
How much of that do you think is prevalent in like music in Hollywood? Like they have to toe the line.
I think. Well, look what happened to Robbie Starbuck. He's no longer doing it. Look what happened to Matthew Martson. He's no longer able to act in the films he's in. I mean, there's so many people who have lost. What's her face? Gina Carano. Look what happened to her, and she's going to win her lawsuit. The good news is that there's now with Daily Wire, and what's going to happen is it's all about the money. So what's going to happen is as the culture becomes more conservative, I think that you're going to start seeing more offerings for conservatives or for people who aren't into this woke stuff. And you saw the recent Marvel movie just completely flopping. Look, man, at the end of the day, the market for superhero movies are guys who like to see other guys doing superhero shit. They don't want to see a bunch of girls fighting and then they're like, well, you're sexist. No. it's the women's fault because you're making a movie for men. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't identify with that. It's just not us. But obviously the failure is the fact that women didn't go support their fellow women. So they're making movies for men, glorifying women, when women have no interest in seeing these movies about women kicking ass. I want to see Captain America. I don't want to see a girl in tights pretending like she could beat up a full grown man. Look, my daughter has all the records in powerlifting. She's sitting right there. And she knows that generally speaking, a man is going to kick her ass.
Yeah.
90% of the time. And I can even make a case, and I hate to say it, that's one reason why we really need to think long and hard about having females in the military and as police officers. And my reasoning is this: only if they can't pass the physical exam. Hear me out. A criminal does not give a shit if you can do 5 push-ups or 10 push-ups. So if the mandate for men is 10 push-ups, it should be for 10 push-ups for women. Or else, why are they doing the push-ups? They're doing those push-ups to identify if that officer is physically strong enough and physically fit enough to be able to fend off a criminal. Okay? So a criminal is not going to be like, should I fight you with 50% of my power or 100%? Since you're a woman, you're only able to do 50% of what the man does. So I'm only going to kick your ass 50% of the way I'd kick a man's ass. The streets don't give a fuck. So what that causes, if they're unable to subdue the criminal via non-violent force, via a takedown, they're more likely to kill the motherfucker and shoot him. So my argument for, look, I think we should have female cops. I think we should have female military. I think we should have females do anything. However, their physical standards must be equal to or greater than that of the man, because the streets don't give a fuck.
Right. So maybe like a sliding scale, like you can join the military, but to be this, you have to be this physically active. You know?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The best CEOs I've ever worked with and for have been females. So I think if we're to have women in the military, not necessarily, combat roles if they could pass the physicals. However, if they can't, women are just as, if not better than men in many situations, including leadership, because there's different kinds of leaders. Women bring another leadership style. I'm speaking generally, not every woman, right? Like not every woman manages the same. I've had hardcore females. I've had very softcore females as far as leadership. Get your head out of the gutter, Alan. Okay. So,
dude, I was clocking one up,
realized,
and then I realized your daughter's in the room, so I was like,
she can't hear. I got these.
Oh, okay.
After it came out of my mouth, I realized how that could sound. So look, man, women should be in the military, even if they're not combat strong, in leadership roles, in management roles, in even like, I'm talking war room roles. I just don't think that the people who can carry on our bloodline, I don't think we should be putting them into combat unless they show that they are fit for combat.
Right.
Because I think we're putting them at too much of a risk if they're being held to a different standard. My standards are simply equality. Yeah. So if the physical standards are equal, absolutely put her on the field, because she's going to kick ass and she's going to win some shit for America. Right. However, if she's only doing 5 push-ups to a male's 10 push-ups because there's different standards, we are risking her life, and we're risking the life of her fellow, you're in the military, but fellow teammates or Marines or whatever.
Battalion. Yeah.
Battalion. That's it.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I absolutely can, because I think that there's certain aspects too that are a little different. Now, don't get me wrong. I think everybody should have some perspective on what happens. I think that's a huge problem with, like, when you have the president of the United States that's never been in the military. It's very easy to say, well, we'll go to war, when they don't even understand what that shit is, right?
That's why I don't speak on anything but peace.
Right. But I just think that, like, we should examine the possibility that equity and diversity have not worked out well for aspects of life where we don't want people to be equitable. We want people to excel, and diversity doesn't mean shit in certain situations. Like, as I don't give a fuck if the fireman that's saving my mom from a burning building is black, white. I don't give a shit if they're like, I don't care who they want to date. I don't care if the dude does drag on the weekends or anything like that. As long as as long as dude or girl can get my mom up and down that ladder as fast as humanly possible to save her life, I don't give a shit, but to just hire people or to put people in positions because, well, we're meeting a quota. Like, first of all, how is that equitable? Because it's not equitable if you really look at it, are we doing this to like the portions of the population? Because if we're not just if we're just not hiring white people for certain companies anymore, as a newsflash, we're like at least 50% of the population is still white.
Can I take this politically incorrect as possible right now?
Absolutely. Okay. That's what we do, motherfucker.
Okay. Ben Shapiro's a Jew. Yeah. Probably not a very athletic individual, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes is, a cultured individual. Okay. Right. What if we said that all Jews, because they're like Ben Shapiro, only had to live up to certain physical expectations, but to be in the military because Black people are generally, well, let's say they have more roles in professional sports. They have more, they're better athletes. We can all say that. Generally speaking, as a whole, Black people are better athletes than Jews. So do we let Jews go to a certain level because they suck at athletics and hold them to lower standards as Black people and discriminate against Black people because they're highly athletic? Or do we say, hey, I don't care if you're a Jew or you're Black, you have to do this to be at this. You have to pass the SEAL training. You have to pass the Ranger training. Whatever level you're going at, we're all at the same level, regardless of your race, regardless of your gender. And again, you know what? And this is a good one. I love this one. Look at Ukraine. They have women on the front lines now because they're out of men. They're literally recruiting they're recruiting 60-year-old dudes. We have literally killed off all the Ukrainian fighting age men. Congratulations, pro-Ukraine people.
The average age of Ukrainian soldier has gone up by 12 years. It was 30. It was 31 at the beginning of this. The average age is 43 now.
So here's the problem: who's gonna be there in the future for that country? They literally killed off an entire generation of men for no reason. They're at square one. This is what we were trying to tell you guys.
Yeah, an entire generation of men is gone. And here's the thing: Russia can now just sit and wait. Like, they wait 5 years, their average age of soldier goes up more, and they could just come back and take what they want. I still don't think that Russia actually wants all of Ukraine. I really don't. I think they just want the parts, right?
And for the record, Anna thank you, by the way, for your service. I'm always going to say that, even though sometimes I think you took a job, you did it, but thank you for taking that job, right? Mm-hmm. My mother was a combat veteran in the Israeli Defense Force. And my mother had very high standards that she had to live up to get to the role she was at in the Israeli Defense Force. So her job was physical. So I speak as someone with direct lineage to a female combat veteran, but my mom didn't get by because she had look, Israel doesn't give a fuck. No. They just don't care. They're like, yo, we only got this many people. We have this much land. Look, I'm pro-America. You're not going to get me on. You're a Zionist. No, I'm an Americanist. All right. Yeah. I don't do that. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I literally could care less about that conflict. It's not my conflict. I'm an American. I've never even been to the homeland. Let them deal with that shit. When dust settles, we'll figure it out. Right? Not my problem. First, we need to figure out how to get out of debt as America. Yeah. And we got to figure out how to not get our own soldiers killed. We don't need another proxy war. And also, when Americans get involved in other wars, people die. Look at Ukraine. If they would have had an end goal, we would have never seen so many innocent men and women die. And I put that everybody who had a Ukraine flag in their bio, you have blood on your hands. You have blood on your hands. You should be ashamed of yourself. May you forever live with that guilt. You are a problem. And you knew this was going to happen. Did you really think you're going to beat Putin in Russia? Did you really think there's not enough weapons and money in the world? What happened was that money was sent over. Some of it got used for defense. Most of it went right back into our pockets at politicians in America. And everybody's like, oh, but defend Ukraine. And I'm called pro-Putin. Look, I don't like Putin. I think he's cool. The man wrestles bears shirtless. Yeah. But I'm not pro-Putin. I'm anti-death.
Yeah,
And you
that's
guys
exactly
use that.
it.
It's just like that racist shit, right? And it's just like the anti-Semitism thing that all these Jews are using now. If I say, hey, look, I don't think we should get involved in Israel. You're anti-Semitic. All right, fine. Yeah, I'm anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Mark's like, sure.
It's like you can't just like, hey man, I don't think we should lock down the country. Racist. I'm like, you can't just call people names and throw out random insults and random, like, look, here's the deal. Being against a war that was unwinnable does not make me pro-Putin. It makes me anti-stupid.
Yes, anti-stupid. I love that. That's exactly it.
That's a shirt. Anti-stupid.
That is a shirt. That's one for us. Hey, I wanted to get to this real quick, just so we didn't pass it up.
Yes, 30 of them bitches.
That's awesome.
Hey, they're on sale. By the way, the sale is still going strong. We still have our free gifts. We actually were able to get some hoodies. We're not going to run out of hoodies tonight. So if you haven't ordered yet, go to tigerfitness.com. Okay, so Machine Multi is made to be like, just in case you need to get a multi, like for a very low price. Immortal is what everybody should take. Get Immortal. And especially it's 25% off. Like that is so friggin' cheap with all the gifts. We just had one dude in actually Houston, believe it or not, place an order, shit you not, for $2,300 while we were on this live.
Damn.
It popped up on my phone. Chad was like, this has to be one of the biggest orders ever. So people are taking it. So what people are doing is they're buying people's Christmas gifts. Like I had a guy, it's like, I'm on my Instagram. He's like, yep, I bought everybody's set. Everybody's getting either way outright bars. And then I'm giving away some people are gaming the system and placing multiple orders for the 229 to get multiple free gifts. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. You can't like.
They're gaming the system. I like it. I'm not going to be mad if they figure out the system and they game it. Not going to be mad at them.
So for everybody to know, like both AmbrosiaCollective.com and TigerFitness.com are running 25% off specials through the rest of the weekend. If you want to check out my special, you got to go to both because then you get points on each.
And we sold out of all the Ambrosia stuff. It just our sale went harder than we thought. So like Alchemy, No Morbidity, you got to go to AmbrosiaCollective.com. But for all the other stuff you need. Yeah, but for all the other stuff you need, go to Tiger Fitness because Ambrosia only carries pretty much Ambrosia and a couple other things.
Yeah. That's outstanding. So is Tiger Fitness sold out of everything, you saying?
Basically, I think we still have some Kinetic left. But yeah, it's been crazy. We had our first shift started at 12 midnight last night. And so every order that came in today theoretically should be shipped, but our warehouse is literally, if you look at it, Alan, you won't recognize it. It's empty. It's not empty, but it's definitely not stacked to the ceiling like before. Like Cammy and I did that live, and I'm like, man, it's almost embarrassing how little bit of product we have now. But so it's all good.
Here it is, Ambrosia, guys, just to check it out. Look at that. Look at these bundled deals.
The bundle deals are insane.
$82.88 for the Holy Trinity weight loss bundle. That's insane. That is, I mean, you could get a year's worth of that at what, less than $900, like a little over $900. And instead of taking a very seriously harsh pharmaceutical that would possibly give you gastroparesis, suicidal ideation, and make you shit yourself, for $1,300 a month, you could get this for under $1,000 for the entire year. Boom. Then you lose weight in a state of satiation, satisfaction, and you don't have to worry about like shitting yourself at work one more time. So,
yeah.
Crazy.
So again, two great deals. Yeah, we really, again, like, man, like we always talk about it. Like Alan and I just love being a part of this community and all the support we get. And it's Thanksgiving is sometime, I don't really celebrate holidays, but Thanksgiving, like I just look at it as a name. It's time to be thankful. And, we're really thankful for everybody on here, everybody supporting us throughout the years. And, I'm thankful that in 2020, Alan and I, got over our old riff of when he completely destroyed me in a battle. Fucking, it wasn't fair. Like I quit trash talking for 2 years. I had to go into retirement because he won. Alan is the king of talking shit. Like, don't ever battle with Alan. If that's one advice I have, don't battle with the man. You got to respect him. There's been
times when people have talked shit on Marc recently where I've been like, here's what I'm going to say. And Marc will text me next day like, nah, dude, apologize. We're good. Abort. Like,
yeah, because it would have definitely.
I go for the jugular. I really.
Yeah, it's definitely a death kill. But anyway, I'm going to start my drive home.
All right, man.
Yeah, because good news is, so I was going to stay at Chad's, but Chad actually, he got the flu or whatever the heck's going around. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not staying there. I'd rather drive home or sleep in my car. I'm definitely not going to pay for a hotel. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Alan, thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you. And we'll be back next week live. Marc, drive safe, buddy. I'll text you later.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.